sanctions by America. Let me show you a screenshot here of Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Can you see it? Yeah. Today, I'm imposing sanctions on UN Human Rights Council Special Rapporteur Francesca Albanese for her illegitimate and shameful efforts to prompt the International Criminal Court action against America and Israeli officials, companies, and executives. Now, for those who don't know about Albanese and her deep, not just it's anti-Semitism, okay? Let's just call it out for what it is. Her deep anti-Semitism, comparing Netanyahu to Hitler, comparing, basically implying that there's some kind of comparison with Israel fighting modern-day Nazis of Hamas with what happened to the Jewish people. It's sick. And he said that Albanese's campaign of political and economic warfare against the US and Israel will no longer be tolerated. We will always stand by our partners in their right to self-defense. America will continue to take whatever actions we deem necessary to respond to lawfare and protect our sovereignty and that of our allies. Amazing. It's really hard to imagine this happening under previous American administrations. I want to go into some of Albanese's greatest crimes and lies. Eitan Fischberger put out a tweet saying, in honor of her being sanctioned, let's revisit some of her greatest hits. First off, there was that time she called the IDF's killing of Sinwar quite inhumane, adding, I do not believe that this is justice. Then she praised Hind Rajab Foundation, which is run by a Hezbollah operative. Nice. At that time, she implied that the CIA and Mossad were behind the Paris attacks perpetrated by ISIS. She spoke at a Hamas conference and told the crowd they have the right to resist Israel. Those multiple times she was an October 7th rape denier. She also said October 7th was good for Israel because it let the country unleash its genocidal ambitions, which is a blood libel if I've ever heard one. She also said Hamas didn't target civilians on October 7th. Unbelievable. Last but certainly not least, she also said that the US is subjugated by the Jewish lobby. Actually, by the way, there's a lot more out there. There's a lot more of content. Eitan's act looks like he's posted some visuals below. And he forgot to add the fact that she's been defrauding the public for years by posing as a lawyer despite not being one. So Vanity Fair Italia stealth edited its interview with her, scrubbing the part where she claimed she never lied about being a lawyer. Why the cover-up? Because she did lie, and that could expose her to legal consequences. She lied about being a lawyer on multiple occasions, but this is the most serious instance. Her application for the UN Special Rapporteur position, she may have opened herself up to legal liability for fraud by misrepresenting her qualifications. It looks like she never passed her legal exams. That's what it looks like. And it's just amazing. Not only is she full of lies, but she doesn't even have the qualifications. Hillel Neuer, who runs UN Watch, who has famously gone after her, she put out a tweet saying, just to be sure, on this day more than ever, I stand firmly and convincingly on the side of justice, as I have always done. I come from a country with a tradition of illustrious legal scholars, talented lawyers, and courageous judges who have defended justice at great cost, often with their own life. I intend to honour that tradition. So Hillel Neuer wrote, yes, your country does have many talented lawyers, and each had to pass a bar exam and qualify. You never did any of these things. Contrary to what is written in your bio and contrary to your repeated statements, You are not an international lawyer, only an international liar. So once again, we're seeing that America is leading the way in common sense. People think, oh my gosh, wow, finally they're taking a stand. It's so bold. I really try to make us just reflect on the fact that this is what should be happening in a sane world. People accusing the Jews of genocide when they're fighting genociders are people who are still recovering from the worst genocide in human history. And they're being accused of this when they're putting their own soldiers on the line in order to be as surgically precise as possible in going after Hamas in Gaza. It's sick. It's truly deranged. And Albanese is actually pretty deranged. And I did a video earlier a few months ago which showed an interview with her where she is being asked about whether or not she's an anti-Semite, and she had such cognitive dissonance. She was asked, why do you think it is that the UN focuses so much of its time disproportionately on Israel, at the expense of so many other conflicts with far higher death rates and casualties and human rights abuses? And what was her answer? She said, because nothing ever changes with Israel. The most bizarre answer. So things change with human rights abuses in all these other countries, Iran, Syria, China. It's unbelievable. The cognitive dissonance is extreme here. Anyway, before I finish, I want to show you something really, really cool that we've been working on for a while behind the scenes and now have just launched. Have a watch of this. I'm so excited to share with you something that I've been working on for a while. We've just taken